right, welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. And in tonight's episode, we break down the recent episode of Friday Night Smackdown. From Randy Orton and Asuka moving on to the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring, to John Cena's brutal attack and pipe bomb style promo on CM Punk. So, como siempre, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on. Yo, Primo, what is good?
Yo, brother, what's going on, man? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Todo bien, man. Todo bien. Just ready to jump into this Smackdown, bro. It was okay.
I mean, I feel like that's been the going rate for Smackdowns recently when you and I come on. It's like, it's okay,
man.
Like, I think once again, it's because it is a 3-hour show and they throw a lot of fillers, which is something that I know you're not a big fan of, and I get pretty tiresome of, or gets tiresome rather to me as well. I think that kind of is the downside to Smackdown.
I mean, yeah, but when is this 2-hour Smackdown coming? I thought it was coming like soon, no?
I mean, I read a while ago that it was coming. I just wasn't really paying attention to the date that it was, because I don't even know if they released the date when I was reading the article. So,
it just said summer.
Yeah, not
right?
100% sure. Something like that. So, I mean, that could be, if they say summer, that could be August. Like,
yeah, you're right about it. But okay, let's just jump right in. We get this Smackdown, right, straight out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, right?
yes.
And then we get LA Knight coming out, to open up the show, to talk about the payback of the payback of the payback, and that's what it felt like for the first 10 minutes. And then he ultimately comes to the conclusion of like, well, you know what, this is all going to end with Seth Rollins. He's the one that is sending his goons out to mess up my whole thing. So Seth, get your, behind out here, yada, 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 all this stuff. And then we get, my name is Paul Hamon, and it's just like, come on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they got to give the day off. He's a Raw guy, you got to give him the day off. So they have his lackeys and his mouthpiece show up, which is fine. I mean, I wasn't expecting the call out for Seth. I was like, okay, he's going to call out one of these two. And he's like, Seth, and I'm like, great. I mean, essentially, because it comes down to his henchmen. So yeah, made sense. And then Heyman comes out and he's like, I like you, LA Knight. So as a favor, Seth is going to let me tell you, just leave the arena. Otherwise, something bad is going to happen. To which LA Knight, because LA Knight's like, nope, like if he's not here, then it's going to be me and you fighting. And Paul, he turns around. He's like, I'll give you the first shot. Turns around. Paul gets out of the ring. And then he says that what I said wasn't a prophecy or whatever. He's like, it was a spoiler. And then out come Breaker and Broncito.
Yeah. And then they come out, and basically this sets up the match for Bronson Reed and LA Knight later in the evening. Do they duke it out now? I don't recall. Well, I mean, they do just scrap a little, right?
They scrapped a little. They beat on him for a little bit. He was able to get out of or they threw him.
Oh, that's right. They ripped his shirt and he had a chair.
The scores area. Yeah. Right. And then he came out with a chair. And then that's the great equalizer. So they went to the back and we were set for the next segment, but it does lead into a match later on tonight that will be Bronson Reed and LA Knight, which they showed a little interview in the back, a little segment in the back rather, where Heyman was like, see, that's why patience isn't a virtue. It's, I forget what he said. It's like, it's a plan or whatever. So, but yeah, good. Set up the fight. Great. Filler. Let's go.
Yeah, and then we cut to a backstage segment where we see Jade Cargill, right, with B-Fab and B-Chin, right, as we dub them, right?
Correct.
And they were all talking about, oh, can you believe that, are you going to be ready for Queen of the Ring, this and that? And then they basically changed the conversation to like, oh, we need to talk to Nick Aldis about our tag team shot, so they kind of leave the frame. And then we get Braxton coming in and he's like, Jade, how do you feel about your, the Queen of the Ring tournament and stuff like that? And she really cut a really good promo. I was like, she did such a great job. She almost convinced me that she's gonna win. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like she could
right.
win the whole thing.
I mean, she's always been good on the mic, so that's
Right.
That's good. It was the in-ring stuff that she needed to work on, but yeah, she sounded great. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say was, but the thing that I always noticed lately about WWE is like it's kind of like the people who bark the loudest end up falling short. So because they gave her this moment, it feels like, if she goes up against Roxanne Perez, most likely, the Judgment Day is probably going to interfere and kind of get her that victory. And, that's how you kind of save face for Jade, because it was like an unfair fight kind of situation. That's what I think is going to happen.
I mean, honestly, kind of on that vein, maybe I'm thinking maybe something like you get Liv trying to come out and screw her, and in doing so, it actually helps her somehow. And to kind of further fuel, like, some things in there. So, or she comes out and she does cost her, and then this is the beginning of the implosion of the Judgment Day, and we're gonna get Judgment Day and Judgment Day Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
Judgment Day Wolfpack.
So that could be it. But I was laughing when you brought it up because Braxton didn't come in. Byron Saxton came in.
Oh.
So that's what you said, Braxton. I was like, Tony Braxton? What's going on?
Braxton.
Wait, what? Huh? Byron Saxton. Yes. So
Man, he's Braxton.
You combined them. You just kind of like beaching is what you did. So
I think that's what it was. I was in combined mode.
Yeah, now you're in full Hollywood couple mode. Like, yes, everybody's gonna have a Hollywood name.
Yeah. No. But then after that, I believe we jump into the Chelsea Green segment with the Secret Hervis. I thought I haven't said it in a while, but
Secret Hervis. Wait, we covered? No, we have Bliss versus Asuka, right?
Yeah. But before she heads out, they have that segment with Chelsea Green and the Secret Hervis, and then Charlotte comes out, and they keep playing on each other of like, like, I'm here to be friends, and she's like, whatever, playing this whole attitude thing. But then you're right, that does set up for that match next, which is Chelsea Green versus Alexa Bliss. So
no, it's Asuka versus Alexa Bliss for Queen of the Ring qualifier.
Right. Sorry. Yes. Man, I'm all over the place today.
Dude, yeah, holy cow, bro. Like, geez, like, ooh, because the segment you're talking about was after the match.
Right.
So okay. we'll get into that. But so the Queen of the Ring qualifiers, Bliss versus Asuka, solid match.
Yeah,
good match. They're both great workers. So it was really, really entertaining to watch. A big Asuka fan anyway. I like Alexa Bliss, so it was good. The win, of course, went to Asuka. I'm not sure if they're going to put the Queen of the Ring on her, which is why if Cargill wins, it seems like it's just kind of a push for Cargill, just because Asuka's just getting back. So unlike the Charlotte wins the Rumble or, things like that. I mean, they might do it because he's proven to do it with the people that he, trusts and favors. So possible. But Asuka got the win there. Clean, right? There was no chicanery, tomfoolery of any kind. So solid match, not bad. Like I said, good to see Asuka advance. I hope that she does it. And then getting into that other segment that you were mentioning, Alexa Bliss is walking down because she'd just been beaten. Chelsea Green comes over, starts talking smack. Then Charlotte comes out and starts being like, I should be in this, if it wasn't for interference or what have you.
Right.
And then Bliss is like, I didn't need your help. And Charlotte's like, I wasn't trying to help you.
Yeah. They keep, I don't want you around, but yet we're still going to see each other in the same segments and stuff. It's like, okay.
So, all right. So, so that's where we went there. And then that'll take care of that portion of the evening.
Yeah, that portion of that, and then we get something weird happening, right? We get the setup for the Aleister Black match with one half of Pretty Deadly, which is Kit Wilson.
Yeah, Kit Wilson. I was like, really? Like, I literally was like, Kit Wilson versus Aleister Black. Really? Like, this is what you're gonna throw at us? So Wilson's already in the ring, and then here comes Black.
Yeah. And then I think the big swerve about all that was right as Aleister's making his way down the ramp, we get an attack from R-Truth. Like, what did Kit do to deserve all this, man? I was like, what's happening?
Well, I mean, hey, Kit's just happy he can get some time because I believe they said that his boy was hurt. So he's just happy he's getting some screen time. He's like, I'll take the squash. Yeah. So then Truth came out, whooped him, and because he was like, I want Cena now. Because we're supposed to have Cena Truth at the end of the night. And he was like, I want Cena now. I'm calling the shots now. And then here comes Jamie Noble and Jason Jordan and whatever coming down. They talk Truth out of the ring and fine. But Aleister Black is clearly upset and annoyed that this happened, and poor Kit Wilson is he's just on the ground.
Yeah, yeah. And for like a split second, I don't know if you kind of caught this, right? But like when Truth was when Jamie Noble was like touching Truth's face, like he was like, "Man, calm down," this and that. For a second, I kind of wanted Truth to like beat him up like really bad, because like, why are you touching the man's face, bro?
Yeah, like if he's this switch has been turned and now he's Ron Killings, like then make him Ron Killings, make him like. Because then even later on, they cut to a promo, I think, in the back where Jamie Noble's talking to him. And then who gets in this? Someone got in his... Aleister Black. No, Aleister Black.
Aleister.
He's like, why are you getting involved in my stuff? Like, why?
Right.
And then we get Damian Priest walking up, and Priest is like, yo, let me talk to him. Like, Aleister Black leaves, and Priest is like, yo, like, all that anger that you have, he's like, that darkness, he's like, that was me and it didn't work. He's like, but you were there to get to make me laugh. He's like, so channel all that into your match tonight, and then we're gonna go out on the town.
Yeah.
And R-Truth was like, okay, DP, sounds good.
And then you get like a little hint of R-Truth, like Judgment Day R-Truth back.
Right,
You're
right,
like,
right,
oh,
like, cool. All right. But I mean, once again, now what are we doing? Because I thought it was Ron Killings. Right.
So exactly.
So because even when they promoted the match, it wasn't Ron Killings versus John Cena. It was R-Truth.
It was R-Truth. I know. I don't know what they're doing.
I was like, what do we? Like, if you're telling me it's Ron Killings and he's different or whatever, then let's commit to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was there.
Yeah, and then I believe we shoot back to the ring and we get the Cody J Uso in ring segment, right? I believe that
we get the Goldberg Gunther video package,
right,
and then Cody Rhodes, yes, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, they come out to talk in the ring. We get a Yeet Fest. We get a Whoa Fest. It's like all this literally 20-minute segment just to hear nobody speak, because then like Sami Zayn comes out. Well, actually, Jay does get some words in, right? He says, we went from fighting, my family to tag team gold to, both of us finishing our stories. But at the end of the day, there's only going to be space for one of us in this tournament, and it's not personal, it's business. And then right before Codith gets to speak, we get whoa, whoa, and then again, back to the point that I brought earlier, Sami Zayn comes out. He starts yelling, and not yelling, but like being overly excited about, you know what, you guys finish your story, I gotta finish my story, and da-da-da-da-da, and then boom, Randy comes out, and he's like, well, I don't know about that, man. You ain't gonna finish your story if I'm in this thing. And for a second, the way that they were like pointing at Sammy, you will be, because even Randy said it, right? Randy was like, Sammy, you will be world heavyweight champion one day, but it ain't gonna be at SummerSlam, right? Right. So it almost made you think for like a split second, wait a minute, it's Sammy about to pull an upset and beat Randy Orton? And then, spoiler alert.
yeah, we get to well, I mean, the King of the Ring is what I like to call Face Fest. Yeah. Because you got 4 of these huge faces like going against each other to try and get this spot. So I thought it was fine, that the Sami Zayn came out. Yeah, now it's time for me to finish mine. And Orton came out. He's like, you're going down to the 3 most dangerous letters in all professional wrestling. We get to the match, Orton and Zayn. And it looks like Sammy's going to pull it out a couple times. They're like, oh, they're teasing. And then, nope, the 3 most dangerous letters in all professional wrestling hold true. Yeah. And I'm not mad at it, because I said it. I was like, the more interesting way to finish this is Cody, Randy. That's, so, because I don't know if we get Randy Uso, if you're going to get the same juice.
Yeah, no.
So unfortunately, Zayn lost, but this now opens up the door for Karrion Kross, because Sami Zayn said, when I'm done with all the King of the Ring Face Fest nonsense, me and you can have this. I don't think he said
Face Fest. I don't think he said that.
I'm paraphrasing, so this is he's like, we're going to get to this match between you and myself. So that's going to be coming up, which he's finally going to get back in the ring, and hopefully this will get him going a little bit. A little more than just the backstage segments and things like that. So this should be fun. At least we know what the next move is for Sammy. And, Orton, Rhodes is, like I said, is the draw over Orton Uso. And I think Zayn Uso Orton Rhodes is still the draw over that. So the right move was made. But like I said, for Sami Zayn, at least this gives you the carrying cross now angle.
Yeah. Which brings me back to like a comment that you said in the last episode that, hopefully this leads into like some type of, basically ownership of Sami Zayn, right? Like, he's so innocent now. Like if he loses to Karrion Kross, now he's like a disciple or something,
Right.
something, because there's got to be a payoff for all this, especially now that there's no championship involved. There's no opportunities involved. There's no namesake like King of the Ring or Money in the Bank.
Right.
Lo que sea. So now it's just like, well, what do we do with this storyline, right? But then,
Right.
and then the other thing too is you also got to remember is they keep throwing the idea that Sammy will become champion at some point in time. So it's like, how do we get back to that picture, right? Well, when the dust settles and everybody's done fighting whoever, and then we get closer to the next WrestleMania, which do you even think Sammy would even make it to the main event by then, or it's probably like the following year?
I mean, I don't think it would happen at WrestleMania. I think he might, maybe a SummerSlam, maybe what was the big four? Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Rumble, and Mania. Maybe one of those. Assuming he does get it. I mean, I think, he's paid his dues, and, Triple H would put it on him a la Kofi, a la Jay, like let's get the fans involved in this and, kind of push the train, and then, we'll finish it however long. Kofi terribly to Brock Lesnar and Jay to Gunther, but that's setting up the Goldberg angle, and now putting Jay and Cody in a match. So Jay will get back there. It's just going to take another moment or so. But yeah, we'll see, because Zayn in that championship picture, I don't know how you do it, because if he goes against Cross and he beats Cross, it's like, well, then why did you even do this? Like Cross should get this win and then figure out where they go. Maybe it just forms just a hell of a rivalry, and then we see a different Sami Zayn, and this is what flips Sami Zayn, and then he starts going on this tear. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay,
it could go either way, but that's a possibility, because you got to figure something out. And I think Sami Zayn just always being good Sami Zayn and everything. Like it's when he's chasing the belt, it's fun. When he gets the belt, it always seems like it loses its luster kind of quick.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but at least now there's an opportunity. We know that he's going up against Cross, and we'll see hopefully what happens moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that response. I'm glad you kind of roped me back into that, because I was trying to figure that out too.
Yeah. But, I mean, because you got to have an angle somewhere. So yeah.
Okay. Then we jump into the Nia Jax segment, right? Where she comes out and she says, hey, like, this whole time I was the one who put Tiffany in the position that she's in, and she turned her back on me. And then Tiffany comes out acting all tough. And it's like, well, if you want to do this, let's do this then, we'll do it next week in a last woman standing match. What? Right, and everybody's what?
Ooh, last woman standing match.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just like, okay. Like,
great.
But then don't we get a confrontation there, right? And then Tiffany gets knocked out for a quick second, and then we get a possible cash in, right? And I was like, what?
Like Naomi comes flying down that ramp with a ref, like slapping on that briefcase, just like there. I was like, oh, I mean, hey, like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it. But then you got to figure they do this all the time, where they run down. Do they cash in? Does something happen? So Naomi goes to cash in, and as she's getting ready, Nia turns her around, and they start like stopping her from doing it, because like Nia wants the belt next week, I would assume, like since she's fighting her next week. I guess is why she's stopping her. I don't know, but it was like not a failed cash in. It was a non cash in. It was more like a possible, and then it just didn't come to fruition. And then while they're arguing, and Naomi's up on the apron, and she's turned around looking at Nia Jax, yelling at her. Tiffany shot from behind, drop kicks her in the back. She falls onto Nia Jax. Tiffany grabs her belt and escapes out the back.
Yeah, which I was like, okay. Well, like you said, kind of to your point, we're just going to go back and forth. We're probably going to have a couple of weeks of this, just, this whole thing. Because she already, targeted Tiffany. She said, I'm coming for your belt. So there's not going to be any surprises of her jumping to Raw or NXT to get those belts. unless there was like a major pivot or something happens. But she already proclaimed that she's going to go after Tiffy. So, I mean, it's a waiting game at this point.
Yeah, it's the same with Seth Rollins. You're just kind of waiting to see when they decide it's time to do it. I mean, last time around, it was the quick cash in, and Tiffany was the only one that had the money in the bank briefcase for like 8 months, 9 months, because Drew cashed it in and then ended up like losing it like the next second, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see how long these two hold on to these briefcases.
Yeah. And actually, real quick before we move on to the next segment, because I actually enjoyed the next promo video. But
so did I.
Yeah, it was really good. But something you just said, right? I don't know if you heard the rumors, but there's rumors that Seth Rollins is going to have a failed attempt cash in at Night of Champions, interrupted by Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
So like, if that really does happen, I'd be so down for that. I'd be really happy with that.
I'd be down for that, but I'm still be annoyed that you wasted the money in the bank to do so.
You wasted it,
because you could have just given Seth Rollins a championship match because it's Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
All you have to do is have him win King of the Ring and get the shot. You know, instead of Money in the Bank, because Money in the Bank, like I said, you could use that year to build whoever you put it on.
Yeah.
You could have Seth Rollins win the King of the Ring. He's a fantastic wrestler. No one's going to scoff their head and go, no, he shouldn't win King of the Ring. Yeah, he absolutely should fucking win King of the Ring. You know, it gives him his title shot at SummerSlam. Reigns screws him. If that's what you're going to do, I think it's a great idea. I would love to see it happen. But like I said, for me, it just leaves even more of a sour taste in my mouth from what happened at Money in the Bank. But yeah, I would still love to see it.
Yeah, agreed. But it's something that I wanted to throw out there. I was like, ooh, how do I feel about that? But going back to SmackDown, this yin and yang promo, dude, it was so good. I was like, it got me jacked up for their match next week.
Yeah, because it was true in like every sense of the word. It was like, okay, well, here they were, you know, these two sides of the coin, or the yin yang symbol, and here we are, years later. You know, 14 years later, and they're now on the opposite side. And it was pretty funny because, you know, Punk said it last week when he cut the promo. You know, I used to be anti-establishment. Like, you're the one saying you're going to leave with the belt, and you know, things like that. So very well done promo. You know, if you didn't see it or you watched SmackDown and just kind of fast forwarded through it, take the 3 minutes that it is to watch it, because it was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, super fun. And then now we finally get the segment that I messed up earlier. We do get the Chelsea Green Charlotte match fairly quickly, decent match. Charlotte gets the win because when she's about to lock in the figure four, the Secret Hervis jumps in and interferes to break it, and then causing the interference, the disqualification. But then we get Bliss coming out to help Charlotte again. This dynamic of, hey, I'm not your friend, but I'm your friend, but I'm kind of your friend, but I'm not your friend. We go back to NXT, but we're friends, but we're not friends, you know?
Frenemies, we're frenemies.
Frenemies, yeah. That's probably a quicker way of saying that, yeah.
Than the 60-second ramble you just went on?
Yeah,
friends
exactly.
With our friends with friends with friends that got friends, and then friends with the TV show. Yes, yeah. Rachel and Monica. Yes.
And then we get Charlotte walking off, like everybody booing her, like, boo, be her friend, boo. So.
Oh, please hang out with her. She's being so nice. No.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No. And then we get the Solo Sikoa segment where he's gonna go. He tells JC Mateo that, hey man, just be ready, but stay back here. I need to talk to Jacob. I need to basically tell him to come back to the family and tell him that we love him. And then basically he's out there, and Jacob comes out, and Jacob, in true Jacob fashion, was just like, hey man, at the end of the day, you just use me and you just abuse me, basically. And then he's like, I know what this is about. This is about the belt. If this is what it is, then fight me for it. Let's go. Let's settle this for the belt, you know. And then it gets ugly.
I mean, it always gets ugly, but with Fatu, it's good looking ugly.
Yeah. But I mean, it started off into a cool, pretty brawl, and then JC starts beating basically Jacob up. But then Jacob was about to do that moonsault thing off the turnbuckle. But then he gets taken out. Solo gets saved, basically, and then they walk out, and And then that's when we get the promo later on about how it became official for Night of Champions, basically.
Yeah, so there's a promo later on that just cuts to the back. Fatu's got his Raiders jersey on or whatever it is, backwards, like crisscross from the 90s. And it says Fatu across the chest. And he's, let's keep it 100. And, da-da-da, we're going to have the match. Is that Night of Champions or is that next week also?
No, Night of Champions for the U.S. belt.
Mm-hmm. Night of Champions. Okay, that is a Night of Champions. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I wasn't 100% sure. But, yeah, so that promo came a little later on. So just to tie it all into one storyline so we don't have to revisit, we have a match set for Night of Champions between Fatu and Solo Sikoa.
Yeah. And then we finally get into LA Knight and Bronson Reed, the match that was set up earlier in the evening. And basically that was a pretty solid match. Yeah, La Noche. Pretty solid match. And man, both of these guys do such a tremendous job. I was really engaged in the full match. I think what I did enjoy, though, later on in the match when the DQ does happen because Braun Breaker ends up spearing La Noche, and we get 3 tsunamis with the shaky hand syndrome that the
second one, because I was watching, because now it's my thing. The second one, he didn't shake as much. I think maybe he went just down really fast, like so he didn't have time to. So the second one, he was just kind of like he got like one quick shake and then he landed. I was like, man, I was cheated. But then he did the third one, and it was like, I was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, the third one was excessive, though. The third one was like,
that was a bump, because I think he knew he shorted the second one. So he's like, I got to make up for it now. Like,
All right. And then finally, Primo, go ahead and set us up for the last match of the evening and what transpired.
So the last match of the evening, we finally get to R-Truth, or Ron Killings, as it should be stated, versus John Cena. So Cena comes out, Truth comes out, they're getting in the ring, they start beating each other up. Great. Truth is working Cena over to the point that Cena just grabs his belt and he's like, you know what? I'm out of here. So he grabs his belt, starts walking down the ramp. Truth runs out there, follows him. They tussle. Cena gets the best of him for a second, for long enough to be able to pick up his belt and run and slam Truth right in the head. Truth goes down, and he is kaputski. When we hear Cult of Personality hit, and out comes CM Punk. Cena, hearing CM Punk's music, immediately retreats to the ring. Punk runs into the ring. As soon as he gets in, Cena starts working him over. They tussle. Cena's beating him. Takes him down with the belt. We get a table. He attitude adjustment, right? So the attitude adjustment through the table, and then we see John Cena grab a mic and sit on the turnbuckle, and then we get a John Cena pipe bomb, which I wanted to see how it went, and I'm not mad at it at all. I'll let you kind of rock with what he did.
Yeah, well, basically, he verbatim started that pipe bomb 2.0, which I put in my notes, the same exact way that Punk did 14 years ago. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. I love the promo, and I love that nobody booed John Cena at all during this time. They loved every bit of it. But I think that one thing that kind of like really kind of ticked me off was the face. I guess maybe it was the camera angle, but the face that Punk had the whole time, like in between the table, he was just like, like, where am I? For 20
one
minutes,
attitude adjustment through a table and a little bit of a beating, and it's literally like a 7-minute pipe bomb. And I'm just like, I was like, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, roll around. Do like you are not unconscious, like move a limb, like something. Like, no, I'm just gonna lay you in the same spot, just like just it was crazy. No, I agree with you. That was kind of funky, and it was because the camera angle was literally right there. They had one angle where he was looking up at Cena, and on the left hand side of the screen, there's Punk, like just drooling on himself.
Yeah, no, but fantastic promo, man. And I think the best part about it too is like right before he leaves the ring, he just like, hey, and thanks for giving me the promo to do basically, on you 14 years later, and just like throws the mic at him. And I'm just like, whoa, Cena, like,
thanks for letting me use your promo to to make you look bad or something like that.
Yeah,
Is what was
yeah.
like, and it was like,
I was
okay,
like,
yeah, great,
wow.
yeah. Well, because he even said, he goes, and as you can hear, the tide's starting to turn, like starting to shift, because he wasn't getting booed. To your point, everyone was applauding the entire time. So yeah, no, that was the scene. Is he's playing the role of the heel beautifully. Like it's after 25 years of everything that he's been. This is why this had to be done. This is why it had to be done. I mean, Hogan did it. Like everyone, like you got to do it because you have to maximize on the opportunity. It's his last go around. I think this is great, and he's hitting every time he comes out. So nicely done, Cena, man. Really good work.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very funny. And then the other thing that I liked about it was when he was like, "You're someone who'll step over anybody, to who works harder than you just to get popularity." Hey, Claudio Castagnoli. Hey, Nick Nemeth. Hey, Matt Cardona.
Matt Cardona.
And I was like, "Oh shit, what's up, dude?" Yeah. So that was good. It was really, really well done. I think that was obviously the segment of the night. I am annoyed that Truth is back, but he's still kind of getting this little whack treatment kind of a thing. I mean,
Yeah.
he needs to get his full on match, and he needs to come out as Ron Killings and just do it, and just have people put respect on his name as Ron Killings.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, overall, like my final thoughts of the episode, it was okay. It was a decent episode. I feel like you're right. The past 2 weeks, it just feels like Raw has just been on it. And then SmackDown has just been a little lackluster the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
There are some moments that do save it. Like in this episode, it was the promo at the end and the Jacob Fatu stuff and even the Seth Rollins Goons matches, right? I mean, those minor things like that. But I would give this I'd probably give this episode maybe like a 7. I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but it was fun.
I mean, for me, the Cena promo at the end saved it. So I'm gonna go 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
7.5, 7.5, maybe 8, but I mean, 7.5. So, but overall, solid episode. Like I said, this one didn't seem to drag on as much or annoy me nearly as much as some of the recent Smackdowns that we've spoken about that have been on. And once again, who are we to judge? We're just here sharing our opinions. We're just humble fans. So before anyone gets on us about that, like we just sharing our opinions. We like what we like, and it's going to differ. But from some people. But 7.5. I thought it was a solid one. Set up a couple things, clean up a couple things. Like, fine. No, not mad that I watched it.
Yeah, agreed. No, but like I said, overall, decent watch. I'm leaning more towards just Raw. I just like what's happening there. I like the craziness, the surprises. I just like seeing Penta jump out of nowhere when it comes to stuff like that. So I wish we could get a little bit more of that sprinkled in on SmackDown, because if you notice, we haven't even seen Rey Fenix in a minute. You know
I was about to say we haven't seen Phoenix since the AAA pay-per-view or PLE. And Los Garzas are now, they're the AAA champs, so they're probably not going to be there for a minute. So like we just lost to and then if they're gone, probably Santos will be with them, unless you just have Santos come back by himself, or they do double duty, whatever. But you got to figure that out too. And once again, with they're going down to 2 hours, you got to figure all this out and cut some time. So we got to see where it goes. Maybe they start using AAA more and TNA more and stuff like that. We got to see.
Yeah, for sure. Bueno, Primo, I want to take this opportunity to we'll switch it up a little to go ahead and thank all our listeners. They have been really fantastic. The feedback has been fantastic. The growth of our channel has been fantastic. We've gotten ever since the Angel Medina episode, we got significant amount of followers on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. So we definitely appreciate the love and support from everybody. And we truly, truly do mean it. Please reach out to us. If there's a topic that you want to talk about as a fan, we'll make the time. We'll do the homework. We'll sit here and record an episode together, and we'll put it out there, because we haven't done one of those in a minute. We definitely have a lot more coming down the pipeline with other stuff as well. We've shared a couple of reels. We've gotten the attention of some folks, and we just got to lock a few things in, and more to come with that. But overall, we are super, super excited, super blessed, just super happy to be able to do this for y'all. And like Ariel said in our last episode, and I think he said it perfectly, that, you know, we do this because we love it, but it definitely makes us do it that much more and love it that much more when we know that y'all are just vibing with us, and we love that. So, Primo, you got anything to add to that?
Beautifully said, my man. I have nothing to say. I just also want to throw in a profound and deep-hearted thank you to everyone. Share, like, click, follow, all the fun stuff. Look out for QR codes places, including on our backs sometimes. I actually had a friend of mine at the bar the other day. He was like, "Oh, wait, hang on a second," and turned me around, and it took him a good minute or so. My man Charles is a little older, so he's still getting used to his phone. So he's like trying to find the QR code thing. I'm like, let me create this shortcut for you. But he took it. He's like, "Oh man, this is fantastic." I was like, "Yeah, all the info's right there." So primosforlife.com is where you can go get all the info. And now we're rimming, so I'm sorry. That being said, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And then shout outs to our graphic design team for all the latest works that they've been completing for us. It definitely gives us that pro looks, and we're getting tremendous feedback from that as well. So thank you to our team.
Thank you, team.
With the team. All right.
Yeah, we'll asterisk their team. So
yeah.
And also, thanks to your friends who have done these wonderful hats and this merch for us. Thank you guys very much. I don't know if we've said it yet. Like, these are great, and we love it, and I love rocking it and wearing it, and it's fantastic, you know, to have that kind of like brand with you and everything. So a special thank you to your friends who are taking the time to do that for us as well. Thank you very much, wholehearted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Bueno, primo, como siempre, you know, to wrap this baby up and take it home, you know what you got to do, my man.
That's it, man. Once again, thank you everybody for listening. We truly appreciate and love every single one of y'all. Once again, we couldn't do this without you. So thanks for being here, and we will see you when we see you.
We will see you when we see you. Adios, everybody.
Peace.